Hi everybody, this is Sheilaaliens. Today is November 26, 2011. This is a news report by KKCO, NBC11 News out of Colorado. Deadly contrails in the sky. A controversial theory is gaining popularity, a theory that has some saying jet plane contrails are the government using the sky as their own personal chemistry experiment, an experiment that some fear is dangerous. So, this was aired on November the 21st. The problem is, the audio is completely destroyed. You'll see on the website people complaining about this in the comments, but I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys anyway. I'm just going to warn you guys that I'm sorry. This is how the video is that they uploaded. I tried downloading it a million different ways and it's always the same, and apparently it's like that for everybody. So I guess the aliens got to it. It sounds like there's a crazy echo, and I'm sorry. If you can look past it and listen to the report, then good. We'll just try to do that. Alright? If a better version of this video comes to the surface, I will definitely be uploading that. Much love. Meow.
The trails left behind by airplanes can be explained by simple chemistry. Air and moisture mixing in the atmosphere make white trails in the sky, and they're called contrails. But some believe those trails are more than a mixture of moisture. A controversial theory is gaining a little bit of popularity, a theory that has some saying those contrails are the government using the sky as their own personal chemistry experiment, an experiment that some fear is dangerous. 11 News reporter Vanderveer explains why some believe in the theory and why others say there's no way in this 11 News special report.
The technical term is geo-engineering.
The plans to put particles and chemicals into the atmosphere will pollute our air, our water, and our soils.
President of the Agriculture Defense Coalition, Rosalind Peterson, says chemicals are being sprayed into the air via jet planes, all in an attempt to combat global warming.
They're changing our climate, and they're reducing the amount of sunlight that's reaching the earth.
Grand Junction resident Derek Snyder has photographed hundreds of contrails over the past year.
You'll see checkerboard patterns in the sky or a lot of X patterns, cross patterns.
Patterns, he says, are part of a government experiment.
Aerosol spraying techniques to basically try to bounce sun rays back up into the atmosphere.
Snyder says high levels of aluminum and other toxic chemicals can be measured in the atmosphere.
It's aluminum oxides, barium, beryllium, sulfur.
Air quality testing shows these chemicals are in the air, but there's no proof higher levels over time are because of chemical trails. Contrails are simply exhaust coming from these jet planes, mostly water. But what some conspiracy theorists believe is that those trails are actually chemical trails purposely filled with deadly toxins. Chemicals retired FBI agent Ted Gunderson says are slowly killing the planet.
Birds are dying around the world. Fish are dying by the hundreds of thousands around the world. This is genocide. This is poison. This is murder.
But not all by the hype.
It's very difficult to tell that it's anything other than normal plane exhaust.
James Ayers is a professor of atmospheric chemistry at CMU. He says it's unlikely the government is experimenting with human lives.
A few people have talked about the idea of putting particles into the atmosphere to try and observe cooling, kind of like volcanoes do. But it wouldn't be terribly practical. The amounts you'd have to put in, potentially toxic side effects.
Ayers says lingering contrails have to do with one element.
The atmospheric conditions. So if you look in the air and it's particularly moist and particularly cold, contrail might persist for a long time.
Peterson says these persistent contrails have never existed before 1980, and they've only gotten worse.
Impacts on your health, your crop production. It will have grave impacts on tree health.
Snyder insists the plumes are more than just exhaust and wants the government to recognize that publicly.
We need to have some kind of meaningful discourse from our government about this phenomenon.
A phenomenon he says, if true, could be deadly. In Grand Junction, Vanderveer, KKCO 11 News.
Peterson says because of geoengineering, less direct sunlight makes its way into the atmosphere, causing massive deficiencies of vitamin D among humans. And she says as a result, rickets and other childhood diseases.